I remember the first day I heard English. It was a sunny day. I was 7 years old, and my father brought home a small radio. When he called, a new voice filled our home. He spoke in a language I didn't understand, English. The words were strange, but they also sounded beautiful. I was curious. My father noticed my interest, smiled and said, "That's English. It's a very important language." He explained that many people around the world speak English and told me that learning this language would open many doors. I was excited. I wanted to learn more. Soon after, my parents enrolled me in an English class. I was nervous, but also anxious. My teacher, Mrs. Smith, was very kind and had a welcoming smile. She welcomed us with open arms. Our first lesson was the alphabet. The teacher showed colorful images, each representing a letter. A is for apple, she said, holding up a red apple. We repeated to her, A is for apple. We did this for all the letters, and by the end of the class, I was able to recite the entire alphabet. I felt proud of myself. As the days went by, we learned more words. Ms. Smith used games and music to make learning fun. We learned words about animals, colors, and objects around us. I loved learning new words. Each one felt like a new friend. One day, the teacher brought a big book. It was an illustrated dictionary, full of images and words for everything. She taught us how to use it, and I spent hours looking at the pictures and learning new words. My favorite was butterfly because it sounded really pretty. Learning words was fun, but speaking in English was a challenge for me. I was shy and afraid of making mistakes. The teacher noticed this and encouraged us. Don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes help us learn. So, we started practicing talking in pairs. My partner was Sam, who was also shy. We helped each other, each saying simple phrases like "my name is," and the other slowly repeating it. Little by little, we gained confidence. One day, the teacher gave us a surprise. She brought a box full of books. They were simple books in English, stories that were easy to understand. She told us that reading would help her learn faster. I chose a book with a colorful cover about a cat called Tom. At first, reading it was difficult. I had to look for a lot of words, but I didn't give up. The more I read, the easier it became. I began to understand the stories, and reading became my favorite activity. Every day, before going to sleep, I read a book. After starting to read, the next step was to write. The teacher gave us notebooks and asked us to write simple sentences. In the beginning, I wrote about my family. My mother is kind. My father is strong. Writing helped me memorize words and phrases. The teacher corrected our mistakes and always wrote words of encouragement, like "very good" or "good job," which motivated me to write more. I started writing small stories, simple ones, but ones that made me happy. One day, my father brought home a DVD of a film in English. He said watching movies would help him learn. The film was about a brave lion. At first, I didn't understand much, but the images helped me. Over time, I began to understand more and more. Watching movies has become a family activity. We watched cartoons, fairy tales, and adventure stories. Hearing English being spoken helped me improve. I started to pick up new words and expressions, and best of all, it was fun and educational. At my school, there was an exchange program. Students from English-speaking countries would visit us and stay with us for a week. I was excited, but also nervous. I was nervous. I wanted to make new friends, but I was worried about my English. My new friend was Emma, a girl from England. She was super friendly and patient. We talked about our favorite things, and she taught me new words and corrected my sentences. Spending time with Emma made all the difference to my spoken English. I realized that speaking English could be fun. One day, Emma and I decided to stay in touch, so we started writing letters to each other. Writing letters was a great way to practice English. I wrote about my daily life, school, and friends, while Emma talked about her life in England. Receiving your letters made me very happy. Each letter was a lesson, full of new words and expressions. I also learned a lot about life in another country. Writing to Emma has greatly improved my writing and made me more confident in expressing myself. My parents encouraged me to use English at home. We started incorporating English words into everyday things. "Please pass the salt," my mother would say, and I would respond, "Good night." This daily habit helped me become more fluent. I also started using English in the market. I greeted the salesperson in English and ordered the items that way. At first it felt strange, but it soon became natural. Using English in everyday life made all the difference. At my school, they created an English club where we could practice the language in a more fun way. We played games, watched movies, and discussed different topics. I joined the club with my friends, and it was a great way to practice English outside of the classroom. The club had lots of cool activities, like spelling, storytelling, and debates. I loved participating, and each activity helped to improve my English. Furthermore, I made new friends who shared the same interest in the language. During the summer, our school organized an English camp. The camp lasted a week and was in the countryside. There, we spoke only in English. It was a challenge, but also a lot of fun. In the morning, we had classes, and, in the afternoon, activities such as hiking, sports, and we even sang songs, all in English. The camp helped a lot with my English skills and made me more confident. I realized that I was able to speak English for a whole week without any difficulties. The internet has also become a great ally in my learning. I discovered websites to learn English, with games, quizzes, and videos. I spent a lot of time on these sites, and learning became much more fun and interactive. I also participated in online forums, where I talked to people from all over the world about books, movies, and hobbies. It helped me improve my reading and writing, and the internet has really opened up a new world of learning. My father subscribed to an English newspaper that arrived every morning. At first, I had difficulty understanding the materials because they were long and full of new words. But I didn't give up. I started reading the headlines and short articles, and soon my vocabulary increased. This helped me a lot to learn about world events and new topics. My reading speed has also improved. Soon, I started reading magazines in English too, which had interesting articles and illustrations. Music has also become a new way of learning. I started listening to songs in English. At first, I just liked the melody, but then I started paying attention to the lyrics. I was looking for words I didn't understand. Listening to music helped a lot to improve my listening skills, as well as teaching me new expressions and slang. Singing the songs helped with my pronunciation. Music made learning English much more fun. Furthermore, our school organized English workshops with special classes given by guest teachers. Each workshop brought a new technique for learning. One of the workshops was on public speaking, and another on communication techniques. These workshops greatly enriched my way of learning the language. I attended creative writing workshops that were super interactive. We had hands-on activities and exercises, and it really helped me improve specific skills. I learned how to speak confidently in front of an audience, and also how to write stories creatively. These workshops gave me the tools to develop my creative side and the confidence to express myself well. Additionally, I discovered cell phone apps for learning English, which were amazing. These apps had lessons, games, and quizzes. I downloaded some on my cell phone and could practice anytime, anywhere. One app helped me with vocabulary, another focused on grammar, and there was even one to improve pronunciation. Using these apps every day was like having a personal tutor in my pocket, and it made a huge difference in my learning. I also decided to start watching TV programs in English. I chose simpler programs with easy-to-understand language, and one of my favorites was about a group of friends. Watching these programs greatly improved my English listening skills. I learned how people really talk in everyday situations and started to pick up common expressions. Furthermore, trying to imitate the way the characters spoke helped a lot to improve my pronunciation. My city received many tourists from different countries, including English-speaking countries, and I saw this as an opportunity to practice. I offered to help and talk to them whenever possible. It was a practice of English in real situations, which helped me a lot to use the language more naturally. I also learned about other cultures, and that made learning even more interesting. Another thing I started doing was writing a diary in English every night. I wrote about my day, what I did, how I felt, and what I learned. This helped me practice writing regularly and also reflect on my progress. I saw how my English was improving over time, and writing about my thoughts and feelings helped me expand my vocabulary and improve my grammar. It became a habit that I really enjoyed. At school, I participated in several English competitions, such as writing, speeches, and spelling. I decided to enter these competitions as a way to challenge myself. I prepared myself by studying and practicing a lot. The competitions were difficult, but very rewarding. Although I didn't always win, I learned a lot and my confidence grew. Participating in these competitions motivated me to continue improving my English. I also took advantage of social media to practice English. I started posting updates, sharing articles, and commenting on posts, all in English. Social media has become a fun and social platform to practice writing and reading. I connected with people from different countries and joined groups about my interests, like books, movies, and hobbies. This helped me improve my writing and reading skills and made learning more engaging and fun. Additionally, I decided to enroll in advanced English courses. These courses were more challenging, focusing on specific skills such as writing, speaking, and listening. The teachers were experienced and always gave us valuable feedback. The courses helped me further improve my English and prepared me for exams and certifications. I also decided to prepare for an English exam, an international test. The preparation was intense. I studied grammar, vocabulary, and took a lot of mock tests. I also took a preparatory course. The exam covered all skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. It was challenging, but very rewarding. When I passed the exam with good grades, it was a very proud moment for me, and the certification opened new doors. Ultimately, one of my biggest dreams was to visit an English-speaking country, and my parents supported me. Together, we planned a trip to England. I was very excited, but also nervous. This trip gave me the chance to put everything I learned into practice and experience the culture up close. It was my first time traveling alone, and England was just beautiful. I stayed with a host family who welcomed me with open arms. Speaking English every day made a huge difference, and every day my language skills improved. During the trip, I visited schools, museums, and parks, made new friends, and learned a lot about the local culture. It was an incredible experience. After school, I got a job that required the use of English. I was very happy to be able to apply what I had learned so far. At work, I communicated with clients and colleagues, answered emails, gave presentations, and attended meetings. Using English in a professional environment not only helped me improve, but also opened up new opportunities for growth. The skills I developed with English have become a real asset to my career. I also discovered online English courses, which were an excellent way to continue my learning. They were flexible, which allowed me to study at my own pace. The courses covered a variety of topics, such as business and academic English, and had videos, quizzes, and interactive tasks. This helped me further improve my speaking, writing, and listening skills. I also started to explore literature in English, reading classic books, poetry, and plays. At first, it was a little challenging, but as I progressed, the reading became more enriching. This really helped to expand my vocabulary and improve my understanding. Furthermore, I learned different writing styles and was able to appreciate the beauty of words more. Over time, I made new friends who were also learning English. Together, we practiced talking, reading books, and watching movies. Studying with friends made learning much more fun and motivating. We helped each other with grammar, vocabulary, and also shared tips and resources. It was a great way to grow together in learning. Of course, during this journey, I made many mistakes. I pronounced words wrong, used incorrect grammar, and sometimes didn't understand the meaning of things. But instead of getting frustrated, I learned from each mistake. My teachers and friends were always patient and gently corrected me. Over time, I realized that making mistakes was an important part of the learning process. Every mistake made me better. With each achievement, I celebrated. Learning the alphabet, reading a book, writing a story, passing an exam, every small victory deserved to be celebrated. Celebrating with my family and friends motivated me to continue and gave me confidence to set new goals. Learning English was a journey of constant progress, and each achievement was a reason to smile. Over time, I started teaching English to other people, especially friends and younger students. Teaching proved to be a great way to reinforce what I already knew, and it also gave me great joy to see the progress of others. I realized that being a teacher requires patience and creativity, so I used games, stories, and songs. Seeing my students grow has been an incredible reward, and teaching has made me a better learner. Learning a language is also about understanding the culture behind it. I explored English culture through books, films, and music. I learned more about its traditions, festivals, and history, and this made me appreciate the language even more. Plus, it became much more interesting to learn about the language when I saw how it connects with the culture. Eventually, I traveled to other countries where English was spoken, which gave me the opportunity to practice even more. I began to navigate airports, hotels, and restaurants more easily, and met people from different backgrounds. Traveling has not only improved my communication, but also boosted my confidence. I realized that I could use English anywhere. Learning English anywhere in the world has become a very valuable skill, especially for those who like to travel and explore new places. Along my journey, I realized how important it was to have English as a tool for communication, no matter where I was. I also joined some English communities, both online and offline. I participated in clubs, forums, and study groups where we all shared resources, discussed different topics, and practiced together. Being in a community was a motivating experience. I made new friends, learned from others, and we all supported each other on our learning journey. It was a great way to keep learning interesting and social. As I progressed, I started setting new goals for myself. I wanted to read more books, write better stories, and speak more fluently. Each goal was a new challenge and helped me stay focused and motivated. As I achieved a goal, I felt like I was being rewarded for my effort. Setting these goals gave me a clear direction to follow. If I look back, I see that my English journey was full of challenges and rewards. It was a path that required patience and persistence, but also a lot of pleasure. I learned that learning a language is a never-ending journey. There is always something new to discover. I was proud of my progress and excited about what the future held. My English journey was, without a doubt, a story of growth and discovery. I wanted to share my story with others to inspire them. Learning a language is possible for everyone. It just takes dedication and practice. But it's also very fun and rewarding. I encouraged others to start their own journey, to take small steps every day, to enjoy the process, and to celebrate their victories. Learning English has opened many doors for me, and I'm sure it can do the same for others. I learned to value continuous learning. English was just the beginning. I wanted to keep learning, exploring new languages, skills, and knowledge. Lifelong learning is a mindset, a way of being curious and open to new things. Learning English was just the beginning, and there was so much more to explore. My message to you who are learning English is simple: keep going. Learning English is a worthwhile journey. Start with small steps. Use simple words and short sentences. Practice every day. Enjoy the process and celebrate your achievements. Remember, mistakes are part of learning. Learn from them. Use every opportunity to practice. Read, write, speak, and listen. Surround yourself with English in your daily life. Use it in everyday situations. Join a community. Make friends who share the same interest. Help each other. Stay motivated and focused. Set new goals and work towards achieving them. Learning English will open many doors for you, connecting you with people around the world and bringing you new opportunities. Enjoy every step of this journey of growth and discovery. Building vocabulary is essential to speaking English well. The more words you know, the more things you can talk about. Start by learning words you use every day. For example, learn the names of objects in your home, such as table, chair, or door. Use these words in sentences to practice. You can say, "I sit on the chair," or "the door is open." Repeat these phrases every day, and soon these words will become natural to you. Another way to increase your vocabulary is by reading simple books in English or watching videos. When you hear or see a new word, write it down in a notebook and try to use it in your conversations. For example, if you learn the word happy, you can say, "I am happy today." This helps to commit the word to memory. And remember to learn whole sentences, not just single words. Phrases like "good morning," "how are you," and "thank you" are very useful in everyday conversations. Furthermore, improving your pronunciation is essential to speaking English well. Having good pronunciation makes it easier to understand others and helps make communication more fluid. An effective way to improve your English pronunciation is by listening to how native speakers express themselves. Pay attention to how each word is pronounced and try to imitate it. You can use online videos or pronunciation-focused English apps. Many of these features allow you to repeat after the speaker and check if you are saying the words correctly. Another technique that helps a lot is to practice speaking in front of a mirror. Notice how your mouth moves when pronouncing different words, which helps you identify whether you are pronouncing them correctly. You can also record yourself speaking and compare your pronunciation with that of a native speaker. This will help you identify the sounds you need to improve. And remember, making mistakes is part of the process. The more you practice, the better your pronunciation will be. Speech can also be a major source of insecurity for many people, especially in public. This fear can get in the way of learning, but it's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. To overcome this fear, start practicing in safe environments, such as with friends or family who support you. If you prefer, you can start by talking to yourself at home, saying simple phrases such as, "I'm having breakfast," or "I'm going to the store." The more you practice, the more confident you will feel. Another way to build confidence is to start slowly. Don't worry about speaking perfectly. The important thing is to convey your message. If you forget a word, use a simple explanation. For example, if you don't remember the word umbrella, you might say, "I need something to protect me from the rain." Over time, you will notice that speaking English becomes easier and easier, and the fear will disappear. Understanding the different accents of English can be a challenge, but it is essential for communication. English is spoken in many countries, and each one has its own unique accent. To get used to different accents, listen to speakers from different places. You can find videos or podcasts from the United Kingdom, United States, Australia, and other English-speaking countries. Pay attention to how words are pronounced differently in each accent. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Over time, your ear will get used to the different sounds. Try repeating the phrases you hear. For example, if you're listening to a British speaker, notice how they say water or schedule. Try imitating their accent. This will help you adapt your speech to different accents, making it easier to communicate and understand people from various backgrounds. Using idiomatic expressions is also a great way to make your English more natural and interesting. Idioms are phrases that do not have the literal meaning of words, but are common in everyday life. For example, "It's raining cats and dogs" means that it is raining very heavily. Learning idiomatic expressions can be fun. Start with the most common ones and try to learn 1 or 2 a week. Use them in your conversations. When you learn a new expression, try using it in a sentence. For example, break the ice means to make people feel more comfortable. You might say, "I told a joke to break the ice at the party." Using idioms in real conversations helps you memorize better, and soon you will use them naturally, impressing whoever is talking to you. Finally, practicing with native speakers is one of the best ways to improve your English. They can teach you how to use words and phrases correctly. If you don't know native speakers, there are online platforms where you can find language exchange partners. These partners want to learn your language while helping you learn English. You can talk to them via video or text, practicing whenever possible. When you are practicing with a native speaker, don't be afraid to make mistakes. They know that English is not their first language, so they are generally patient and willing to help you. Don't hesitate to ask people to correct you when you make a mistake. This type of feedback is valuable as it helps you learn and improve over time. Over time, you will feel more comfortable speaking English, and your fluency will increase. A great way to practice English is by simulating everyday situations. Think about common situations you frequently encounter, such as ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or making a phone call. You can practice these situations with a friend or even alone. For example, pretend you're in a restaurant and say, "I would like to order a pizza, please." This type of practice will help you get used to speaking English in real situations. You can also write down the conversations you would have in these situations. For example, if you are practicing how to schedule an appointment, write down what you would say, such as, "I would like to make an appointment with the doctor," and then practice saying it out loud. The more you practice, the more natural these conversations will seem. Role-playing helps you prepare for real-life situations, making it easier to speak English when you need to. Listening to English media is also an excellent way to improve your spoken English. By listening to podcasts, audiobooks, and watching movies, you expose yourself to different voices, accents, and vocabulary. Choose media that you enjoy so that learning becomes a fun activity. Start with something simple, like children's stories or educational podcasts made for English learners. As you improve, try listening to more complex material, such as news reports or films. When listening, pay attention to how people speak. Notice the tone, speed, and rhythm of their speech. Try repeating the sentences the way they were said. For example, if you hear someone saying, "I'm going to the store," repeat it the same way. Listening and repeating will help improve your pronunciation and intonation, as well as making you more familiar with the natural patterns of English speech. Technology can be a great ally in learning English, especially when practicing speaking. There are several apps and websites that help you practice spoken English. Some apps let you chat with virtual characters, while others connect you to real people around the world. These features are very convenient because you can use them anytime and anywhere. Plus, they offer instant feedback, helping you improve faster. Another way to use technology is to record your own speech. Many apps have a recording function that allows you to hear your own voice. You can compare your recording with that of a native speaker to identify where you need to improve. This type of practice helps you become more aware of your pronunciation and speaking style. The more you use these features, the better your English speaking will become. Understanding grammar is important for clear communication, especially in speech. However, it is not necessary to know all the rules perfectly to speak well. Focus on the basic grammar rules that are most useful in everyday conversations. For example, learn how to use simple verb tenses such as present, past, and future. Practice saying phrases like, "I eat breakfast every day," "I ate breakfast yesterday," or "I will eat breakfast tomorrow," "in the morning tomorrow." Also pay attention to the order of words in sentences. In English, the order generally follows the pattern of subject, verb, and object. For example, she subject plays verb, the piano object. Practice making sentences with different subjects, verbs, and objects. This will help you speak more clearly and avoid common grammar mistakes. Over time, you will notice that using grammar correctly will become easier and more natural. Doing daily speaking exercises is an excellent way to improve your fluency. A simple exercise is to talk about your day in English every night. Take a few minutes to describe what you did during the day. For example, today I went to the market, bought some apples and oranges. This exercise helps you practice using the past tense and talking about everyday activities. Another exercise is to choose a topic and talk about it for a minute. It could be something like my favorite food. Don't worry about making mistakes. The goal is to get used to speaking in English. You can also practice reading aloud. Choose a simple text or book and read it aloud every day. This helps improve your pronunciation and speaking speed. The more you practice, the more fluent you will become. To stay motivated while learning, it's important to set small goals for yourself. For example, you could set a goal to learn 5 new words a week, or have a short conversation in English every day. Celebrate your progress, even if it's small. This will help you maintain a positive attitude and move forward. Another way to stay motivated is to remind yourself why you are learning English. Maybe you want to travel, make new friends, or get a better job. Whatever the reason, keep it in mind. You can also join a group of people who are learning English. This creates a supportive environment where everyone can share tips and ideas. And remember, it's normal to need a break. The most important thing is to keep practicing and not give up. The shadowing technique is a powerful way to improve your speaking skills. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating what he says as quickly as possible. This technique helps improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. To practice, find a short audio or video in English. Listen to a sentence and repeat immediately. Try to copy the tone and speed of the speaker. You can start with slower and simpler phrases and gradually pass to faster and more complex sentences. Shadowing helps to get used to speaking quickly and naturally. Also, it improves your listening skills, as you need to pay attention to what the speaker is saying. With regular practice, you will see a great improvement in your fluency and pronunciation. Using visual resources can make English learning more interesting and effective. This includes images, videos, graphics, and other materials that help you understand and remember words and phrases. For example, if you are learning the names of the fruits, look at images of apples, bananas, and oranges while saying the words. This helps connect the word with the image, making it easier to remember. The videos are also great visual resources. Watching English videos with subtitles can help you learn new words and understand how they are used in the context. For example, if you watch a culinary video, you will learn foods related to food and preparation. Try to describe what you see in the English video. This will help use the new vocabulary and improve your speech skills. The more you use visual resources, the better your memory and the use of English in conversations. Intonation is the climb and descent of your voice when you speak. It helps convey meaning and emotion in spoken English. For example, when you ask a question, your voice usually goes up at the end, as in, "Are you eat? Are you coming?" Understanding and using intonation correctly makes your English sound more natural and helps others understand you better. To practice, listen to native speakers and pay attention to how their voices change during a conversation. Try to imitate the patterns of intonation. This will help make your speech more fluid and accurate. One way to improve your intonation is to practice phrases with the same intention. For example, if you want to express surprise, say, "I can't believe it, I don't believe." Realize how the voice goes up to show surprise. Repeat the same phrase, imitating intonation. This will help you express your feelings and ideas more clearly in English. The more you practice, the more natural your intonation will become. Participating in group discussions is a great way to practice English with others. In a group, you have the opportunity to talk about different topics, listen to others, and learn new words. To begin with, enter a conversation group in English or create one with your friends. Choose a theme to discuss, such as movies, books, or current affairs, and then take turns to talk, trying to use the new words or phrases you have learned. Group discussions also help to practice listening and response to others. For example, if someone says, "I like reading mystery novels," "I like to read mystery novels," can you answer "Me too, what's your favorite book?" "Me too, what is your favorite book?" This kind of interaction will help you speak more naturally and improve your conversational skills. The more you participate in discussions, the more confident you will be when talking about English. Making mistakes is a natural part of learning any language, including English. It is important to understand that errors are not bad, but an opportunity for learning. When you make a mistake, don't feel embarrassed or unmotivated. Instead, see this as a chance to improve. For example, if you say a word incorrectly and someone corrects you, try to remember the correct pronunciation and use it next time. One way to learn from mistakes is to keep a language diary. Write down the mistakes you make when talking or writing in English and review your diary regularly. Practice the correct way to say or write the words. Over time, you will realize that you are making less mistakes and becoming more confident in your English skills. Remember, each error brings you closer to fluency. Dividing complex phrases into smaller parts can make speech easier. Sometimes we want to express a complicated idea, but we don't know how to say in English. Instead of trying to talk everything in a long sentence, break it in smaller parts. For example, instead of saying, "I was late, because the bus didn't eat on time, and then I have to walk," you can say, "I was late, the bus didn't eat on time, to walk." This way you can express your ideas clearly without worrying about grammar errors. As you improve, you can start adding the sentences to form more complex sentences. For example, "I was late because the bus didn't eat on time, so I have to walk." This practice will help you feel more comfortable talking, even when I have a lot to say. Understanding the cultural context of the language is essential for effective communication. English is spoken in many different cultures, and the way people use language can vary depending on the country. For example, in some cultures, people can be very direct when speaking, while in others, they may be more indirect. Understanding these differences can help avoid misunderstandings and improve your communication. To learn about these cultural differences, watch movies or read books from different English-speaking countries. Pay attention to how people interact, how English greeting in the UK, which may be different from the United States. You can also talk to natives and ask about their culture. The more you learn about cultural contexts, the better your understanding and use of English in different situations. Setting realistic goals to speak English is crucial to your progress. It's great to be ambitious, but it is also important to set goals you can achieve. For example, if you are a beginner, do not cover yourself to speak like a native in a few months. Start with small goals, how to learn 10 new words a week, or practice talking for 10 minutes every day. When you reach a small goal, set a new, slightly more challenging. For example, after learning the 10 words, try using them in a conversation. Defining and achieving these goals will keep you motivated and show you progress over time. Remember to be patient with yourself. Learning to speak English well takes time, but with consistent practice and realistic goals, you will improve. Use these tips and techniques to improve your English spoken every day. Practice regularly, be patient, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you talk, listen, and learn, the better your ability to speak English. If you are starting now or have been learning for some time, these strategies will help you reach your goal of speaking English with fluency and confidence.